Hello.
Hello!
That was flamboyant.
Yeah, you went for it. You didn't even care. You just went for it hard.
Didn't give a damn right there, gentlemen. Didn't give a damn. It was it was time to go.
Yeah. I appreciate that level of integrity, you know?
Hey, like if it's gotta be done, then if it be done, then best it be done flamboyantly. I know that's not like canon Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But
it could be.
Yeah.
I don't remember every line.
No.
Okay.
It's from Flashy Macbeth. The one with all the feather boas and roller skates,
There's been a lot of Macbeths. I mean,
yeah.
adaptations. There's probably, some are more flamboyant than others.
It's true.
Okay.
It's true.
This was
how are you gentlemen doing?
Oh, I'm fine. Pretty good.
He said with finger guns blazing.
Okay. I'm fine. I worked all day, and now I'm home to do this. And then I'm going to work all day tomorrow, but on my stuff, so I like it more. And that's it.
Yeah.
The day we're recording this is the day before American Thanksgiving. Presumably people won't be hearing it until long after. Is this a theme episode? Are we doing festive topics and questions, or?
I mean, we could talk about what we're thankful for, but,
You didn't seem too enthusiastic about that.
And that's what people do. And I'm not, diminishing it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be thankful for things, because that sounds mostly good.
So you're just too cool to admit that.
No, I just, it's the stuff you kind of assume already. It's stuff that doesn't need to be said again. It's something, there's no, big revelation about what I'm thankful for. There's just, the basic stuff that goes on in my life. Most of it's good. I'm thankful for that.
You're like, I'm thankful for all those Spanish doubloons I stumbled over.
It's like, oh my god, we have to know more about this. What an amazing segue. But no, it's just, I have my health is good. My finances are in good shape. Renegade Cut is doing better. My social life is, I got my shit together, basically. So, fine.
I'm okay.
Good. You don't have to elaborate if you don't want to.
I strive to be as boring as humanly possible at all times.
Oh, you excel at that.
Thank you. See, you think you're making it funny, but I genuinely take that as a compliment.
No.
What about Johnny?
Johnny's all right, despite the fact that I would probably describe almost this entire month, actually, as being a vigorous fuck scramble.
Too bad we can't name the episode Vigorous Fuck Scramble.
I was just thinking the exact same thing.
I just kind of I looked back on it, because Austin and Leon, as you gentlemen are well aware, but perhaps, maybe our non-long-time listeners, that is our listeners who don't extend back through our ancestry together into the BT podcast days, maybe these listeners don't know that my health is frequently precarious.
Yeah. I believe it was 2 episodes before when we started the podcast, before you had some sort of stuff going on with your ding dong.
Yeah, I think it was about, and not my ding dong.
That was like a bunch of people's introduction to you as a human on this planet. They're like, hello, I'm Johnny, everything's falling out, help.
Hi everybody, I'm Johnny. Do you remember me from last episode? Let me tell you about what they shoved up my penis. So, but moreover beyond that, I recall the episode where I sounded like, I think someone described it as being the illegitimate love child of Gonzo and Marge Simpson.
Yeah, that was one of our iconic BT podcast fuck-ups. Even letting that air was not good of us.
But this season is normally the danger zone, if you will. The zone of danger for me in terms of how my health is going to be affected. because for like the past 3 years, ever since I took the job that I now work at, every time the autumn comes round, the autumn beginning of winter, I started to take terrible sinus infections.
I believe it's seasonal affective laser disorder. Is that what that is?
I don't believe so. No, it was.
You snuffling up all those laser particles. Wear a mask.
If it was laser based, I'd probably get the impression that there would be like, I don't know, more like lost limbs or something like that, or like weird burns on my skin. But
you're not snuffling the whole laser; it's just laser particles.
I know, but over time, you kind of get the impression that would build up in a way that would sort of be like unmistakable. But it was like
you're a laser expert here. I'm a laser layman.
Yeah. I mean, don't snort lasers, kids. But the thing is,
one
for
kid,
the past,
Billy.
Yeah, you stop it. You know who you are.
Everyone else is fine.
So, but yeah, ever since I started this job, I've been having this problem like every, September through to about like February, fighting off these infections. And it's been a bit of it's been a bit of a circus to try and determine what the cause is, because it's bounced me back and forth between a number of doctors, between like a regular general practitioner to like I saw an allergist who poked me with a bunch of needles and was like, "Oh my God, you're swelling," and then like to an otolaryngologist who's
just made that up off the top of your head. Good job.
Commonly known as an ear, nose, and throat specialist.
Okay.
Just trying to figure out what the fuck is up with my head. Quite literally, what the fuck is up with my head. And through some amalgam of examination and diagnosis and treatments from all these different like doctors that I've gone to go see, we've formed this weird kind of pseudo treatment / preventative lifestyle that seems to finally have fallen into place. Because I was looking back on the month today, it being near the end of November, and I was like, oh geez, like shit's really, been fucked up this month. But then I was like, wait a minute, it's like almost December, and I haven't had a sinus infection yet this year. My God, it's working! So that was like really exciting. Even though,
So I zoned out about halfway through that. Something about butt herpes, right? Is that what the story was leading to?
No, the butt herpes come later.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What, Leon?
Nothing. Just nothing at all.
You don't want to chime in on butt herpes?
Nope. I don't want butt herpes at all.
Bold statements from Leon Thomas.
Yeah. How do you feel about German herpes, Leon?
What?
German herpes.
The
herpes. How do you feel about German herpes?
I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like I'm lost.
We're ambushing you with made up shit.
Okay.
Leon, don't you know you don't know how to improv? You just say yes and.
No, I refuse to go down this road.
So we say a German herpes, and you say yes and also Swedish chlamydia. It's not hard. Anyone can do this job.
I refuse. It's not that I don't know that. I know yes and. I just don't want to.
You're fucking up our flow.
It's different.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leon does not want a yes and German herpes.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
So, we have questions, we have topics, we can just keep not being good at this. That's fine too.
Sure. Hello everyone, welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Butt Herpes Maloney.
Whatever happened to the nicknames? You like the first 2 episodes of this show.
That's a callback. Yeah, I did a thing, like the first couple ones, and then I was like, I don't want to do this every week.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah,
I think he just got sick of being nice to me, because I recalled being really taken aback that I always got, like, the softball nicknames, and
it was like Johnny Cuddle Muffin Maloney.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I think you were really desperately misleading our listeners here.
Are you guys watching Jessica Jones?
By watching Jessica Jones, you mean did you watch Jessica Jones? Are you done with it, Johnny? Yes, Johnny, you did watch Jessica Jones.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Jessica Jones and didn't like it, and so I'm not watching the rest of it.
Okay, well, last week, we'll get to everybody's opinions in a little bit here, but last week I made the joke like as soon as it was going to come out, like 2 hours after we were done recording, I was going to binge the entire thing, and I meant it, but I tried, and woof, this show is much darker and heavier than I was expecting, and I had to take I haven't even finished it. I've been like having to watch it in like small sections because it is some shit, guys. I thought it was going to be like a romp. Like a fun kung fu romp. It is not.
No.
It is deeply upsetting.
I'm presuming that you didn't know anything about the character of Jessica Jones before.
Literally less than nothing.
Okay, I can see how you maybe would have been like.
I thought she was like a kung fu detective.
No,
it's not. It's not that.
No, she's not. Nope. Not a kung fu detective.
What is? I like it. Okay, I want to be clear. It's just a lot more than I was expecting, and a lot more than I was prepared to handle. It's like comic book movies are like escapist. Like everybody knows that, and I think one of the big draws is like cool villains, like badass villains, charismatic villains like the Kingpin and Daredevil. The Purple Man is fucking disturbing. This is a horror series. I'm like 6 episodes into it, and I am uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely some post-traumatic stress disorder in there somewhere.
So how are you liking it? You've seen more of it than us. So
I finished it. I'm done. I went through on my word last week when we were talking about it. I was like, yep, I'm probably going to watch 1 episode or 2 episodes after it like bombs at midnight, which I did. And I was like, probably give it till Saturday. On Saturday I'll finish it. And true to my word, I went through it on Saturday and just powered through, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked. It seemed like a sufficient modern noir.
Yeah.
Lots of characters with deep personal flaws. Lots of tawdriness, things that are deliberately kind of trying to make the viewer uncomfortable.
It's like trashy, but not in a gross way.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much like, hey, this is the genre we're working in. Here are these tropes and ideas. They make you feel a little icky, but we're all in on this together.
A lot of sex.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised about how much sex was in it actually, because that doesn't seem to be something that much of the other Marvel universe is interested in painting with a brush.
The Disney Marvel brand.
Well, I mean, they make fun of how puritanical Captain America is a couple of times, and then, Tony Stark is supposed to be this, like, rich, jet-setting playboy who's, like, surrounded by good-looking ladies, but it's like he's never surrounded by good-looking ladies. They're sort of like, Tony Stark, he's got a reputation, nudge, nudge, and then there is, of course, the pure love from the heavens that Thor has for Natalie Portman.
I forget that she's even a character in this. I'll be honest, like, I've been kind of down on a lot of the latest Marvel stuff, like Thor 2, and I mean, even the Guardians of the Galaxy villain was pretty lame. I like that movie, but the villain is pretty lame on that, and I've been looking towards these Netflix shows as kind of the thing that's most exciting coming out of the company right now. I really like Daredevil. I hear these Defenders people are pretty interesting. So this is where my interest is at right now, and it's delivering. It's just not the tone I was expecting.
No, that's like I'm sorry. I would have warned you if.
I mean, are you familiar with the comics? Are you a fan? Is this how they are?
I never. Jessica Jones came out after I had sort of like ditched my fanatic attachment to the Marvel comic universe, because there came a point in time there in like the late 80s and early to mid 90s and things like that where it was just like if you wanted to read one Marvel comic, you had to read them all.
Which is
like,
by design.
I know. Every second page, it was like, oh, look this up in Fantastic Four, number 876. Oh, look this up in The Amazing X-Men, number 12. Oh, look this up in, I don't know, your mom.
That's a short-sighted like marketing scheme, much like DLC with story bits between major like AAA releases. It's like,
and it drove me away, but I went back many years later to read through the Civil War, the Marvel Civil War,
which is another thing we can talk about because the trailer for that dropped, although I haven't watched it.
Yeah. But, so I went back and there were a number of characters in Civil War that I was like, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? So I started just doing like a little bit of research on characters, and it was during that time that I first brushed up against Jessica Jones. Because I had known who Luke Cage was, because like Power Man is like really, really old in the Marvel Universe. But yeah, so I was like, who's this? And then I read the story of Jessica Jones, and I was like, oh, that's dark. Because like one of the things that they don't do in the show is explain like her sort of like origins. She's a retcon character.
I mean, they hint that she was a superhero and then she got out of that game, and I understand there's more to that story than.
Yeah, like the weird joke about it, like, and it's tongue in cheek as far as jokes go, is that like she was retconned into being an Avenger. And the fact that it was like that nobody was like, I don't remember her being an Avenger, is sort of like because, well, nobody really remembers her being around.
Mm.
So it tells the story about this, and like her entire life story is around it. She was present at the scene of of Daredevil's car accident. She goes to high school with Peter Parker, has like a huge crush on the guy, but like she keeps brushing up against all these like really famous superheroes, like her best friend was Carol
Danvers. Is she like a self-insert fanfic thing? Is that what's going on?
Kind of almost, but except like instead of it sort of being a fanfic thing, like it relates to her entire character, which is about this complex of being like almost a superhero, but like not being memorable. Nobody pays attention to you, and like even in like the story arc that they explore in the TV show with the Purple Man, I think she goes missing for like 8 months or something like that. And at the end of the 8 months when she comes back, it's like even her mom didn't really give a shit that she was missing. She was like, oh, well, I thought that you were, doing your superhero thing. And like none of the Avengers noticed she was missing. Like none of her friends thought it was unusual. And she was like, what the fuck? I've dedicated my blood, sweat, and tears to this fucking job, and nobody gives a shit about me. They're all too busy being Avengers. So yeah, it's pretty like weirdly dark for a Marvel property.
Well, now I guess the question that we need to address now is what didn't you like about it, Leon? What did not grab you or pushed you away?
Oh, the dialogue and the cinematography.
I know, like
it looks like a TV. It looks like a TV show, and I really hate that. And the dialogue is terrible. I mean, in the first 2 episodes anyway, it's just a lot of it's like, God didn't do this, the devil did. I'm like, oh my God.
There's a lot of those dramatic, like, PI monologues. I took them to kind of be, like, tongue-in-cheek.
I took them to
homages. That's fair. I'm
sorry. No, it's totally riffing. It's totally riffing on the genre. I'm with you, Austin. Like, it knows what it's doing.
I strongly disagree. I feel like the show is far too serious to be also joking it on itself. The thing is, lines like that, I would be like fine in a different show, but the show seems like to take what it is saying very seriously. Like when the guy was in the chair and he like writes down "kill me," it's like, ugh, whatever. It's like, I'm sorry. I felt like the darkness was disingenuous, if that makes any sense. Like it just didn't. It felt inauthentic.
Well, you didn't like Daredevil as much as we did either, right?
I liked it enough. Enough to watch the rest of it. And
is that more of the tone you would appreciate? Because that was lighter.
It was lighter and it worked that a little better. Also it just looked better. I'm not a huge fan of Daredevil. In fact, the whole of the MCU is not as interesting to me as it was when it was starting, and it was, like, ooh, all this stuff is happening. In a way, it's better than it was in the beginning, but it's also, I don't care enough. I mean, I want to watch the new Captain America movie because I like Captain America, so I'm going to watch that one. But I don't feel compelled to watch something because it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore. I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. It just feels like another TV show, and I don't want to watch it. I don't want to dedicate my time to it. Jessica Jones is definitely a better show in the 2 episodes I saw of it than, in a lot of ways, than so far 3 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'll grant it that. I wasn't feeling it. It felt, you know what it felt like? It felt like a comic book. I stopped reading them a while ago for stuff like that.
But Leon, David Tennant.
Yeah, I like
David Tennant though.
I like David Tennant a lot. But you know what? It's just not enough. It's not enough to.
I would watch a show that was literally just half-hour blocks of David Tennant folding laundry. Like, that's where I'm at.
Okay. I understand that. He's a fine man who is apparently a very nice guy and a pretty good actor.
It's not even like that he's a great actor. I don't know. There's something about him where I just like, I'm just really into whatever he's doing.
Yeah. He has a very magnetic personality. I totally understand what you're saying. But it's not enough to make me watch episode 3. And that's basically how I feel.
It's a shame because there's a stretch in the middle of the show that just, like, where he gets a chance to really pop.
Yeah, I just don't, look, I'll talk about Jessica Jones for 10 minutes on this podcast. I don't want to dedicate 8 more hours of my life to it.
That's fair. No, I was just gonna say that, like, even if, you didn't enjoy the show, like, are you gonna watch the other Defenders shows that are coming?
No,
I'm out.
Yeah, I'll.
Not even Iron Fist?
Nope.
Even if everybody will be kung fu fighting?
Yeah, I actually read the,
Even if there are kicks as fast as lightning?
Yeah. I read a bunch of Iron Fist back when I was trying to get into Marvel Comics when I was younger, and I like Danny Rand a lot. But again, no, I don't want to. You know that scene in the most recent and possibly last season of Community where
Nope.
where I'm asking Johnny in case you saw it. Where
are we talking Yahoo Community or the last?
Yeah, Yahoo Community.
All right, yeah.
Where Jeff kind of looks around and says, "I'm so tired of these flavorless Marvel movies." That's kind of how I'm starting to feel, and but it's just everywhere.
I mean, I agree about the movies. Like, the last 2 Iron Men sucked, Thor 2 sucked. Like, the movies are definitely in a rut, but I can't agree with you on the shows.
All right.
That's fine. We can disagree.
Sure.
I'm hoping we're gonna get some new blood from, like the Black Panther movie, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel is the next one I'm most excited about.
I still haven't seen Ant-Man yet, but people told me it was good. They told me it was a good heist movie.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the other Netflix series because I kind of see what they're doing at this point in time, because I felt like Daredevil was like the Marvel mob series.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Jessica Jones is like the Marvel PI series, which leads me to believe that Luke Cage is going to be the Marvel blaxploitation, and that Iron Fist is going to be the Marvel cheesy 1970s kung fu epic. Iron Fist is, pardon me.
We could only be so lucky.
I'm that lineup, I'm like, just, sit me down in a chair, plug the IV in, and put bowls of popcorn with, like, garlic and ancho chili oil within reach, and
sure.
I'll be good.
Okay.
I'll be all right.
I don't have too much to say about the upcoming Captain America movie, except to say that I like that the trailer seems to indicate that the conflict between
Whoa! Breaking news! Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, I don't care. I just said fine. I like that the conflict in Civil War, the movie, seems to be the break apart of the friendship between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, rather than what it was in the comics, which was just reactionary man versus Judas fascist. The comics, looking back on them, they're ridiculous and made all the characters look horrible. I'm hoping the movie is not like that. So, that's kind of how I feel.
I just want Black Panther to kick some dudes.
Oh, he's going to. The trailer insisted that spoiler, he kicks Winter Soldier at least once.
Yeah, with both feet too.
Yeah. He drop kicks him.
It's pretty luchadorific.
Yeah, it is. So, I'll watch that. Because I think it's the same directors of Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's the Russo brothers.
Yeah, so I appreciate basically what I've seen in the trailer of it. It's going to have the kind of fight choreography of the previous one, and I like that Winter Soldier was basically an action movie as opposed to most Marvel superhero movies, which feel more like adventure movies, which are different. And I don't know. That's what I want to say about Marvel stuff. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we do questions, or?
I want a Spider-Man.
Okay.
Just a Spider-Man?
I want to know what they've got planned, because there's a couple of characters that we didn't get a look at in the trailer, the Civil War trailer.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm still sort of like thirsty. Johnny's thirsty, baby.
Slightly creepy when you say it like that.
Johnny is thirsty for Spider-Man is a contender for the title.
Yeah. There's one more topic. I don't know how much time you guys want to spend on it.
I'm just going to quickly jump in here and just say I can't get David Bowie's new single out of my head, which is weird because it is like the anti-catchy song.
All of his modern stuff is kind of just I'm going to do what I want, and it doesn't have to conform to any standards of pop music because I'm David fucking Bowie. Deal with it.
And I'm okay with that, I'm perfectly okay with that. But quite literally for the past fucking 4 days, I can't stop humming Black Star, and I don't know what that means because it's not a catchy song. It's definitely not a catchy song.
Do you guys want to talk about this story that everyone's talking about?
Yes.
Do you guys know I'm talking about the Dead or Alive thing?
Tell me stories, Austin, about physics-coded jiggle boob fighting games.
All right, let's
and why we can't have freedom of speech in America.
None of those words mean what you think they mean in that order.
Censorship.
All right, so Dead or Alive, which is a series that's famous for having separate jiggle physics for the breasts of the fighting game characters. They're not going to localize the next one apparently, or that's the.
They announced that they weren't going to localize it.
If it's not a marketing stunt, I would be very surprised. As if they're going to be oh man, so you guys demanded it, I guess we'll do it. But let's cut the bullshit. What this is about is reactionary internet groups are trying to use this as an example of the SJWs taking away their games. And I don't feel like we should even dignify that, but it is kind of funny because there are 1 million of those fucking games that have been released in America. It's not as if this is some kind of fucking conspiracy to keep boob games out of the hands of Americans. There's 1 million of these games.
It's kind of hilarious how easily bought their loyalty is. Quite literally as a commercial, you've just got to be hey, have you seen this? Well, you can't have it. And then they're ugh!
What was that Murder Rampage thing that came out on Steam early this year? Hatred. It's very much like that, where you're oh, this is too edgy 5U. Don't you want?
I'm sorry, it's what?
It's so extreme, it's not even too edgy for you. It's too edgy 5U.
I've never heard that, but
maybe even 3 edgy 5U.
Oh my God, Austin, that's just one step beyond.
But yeah, it's that.
That's like Bed Bath and Beyond.
It's like, oh, sorry, your delicate American sensibilities can't handle all these heaving jugs. And then all of a sudden they're like, we have to have it. It's preposterous, especially because, do you guys have any idea the metric tons of weird Japanese porn games that are made every year that we don't get? Surprise, spoilers, all of them. Like, there's an entire industry of, like, weird porn games we never have gotten ever. Right?
Yeah,
like, this is not new.
I remember that one that we talked about.
Which one was that?
Yeah, we did it back in the BT podcast days about the guy who gets a cognitive injury and, like, all the things that are supposed to be beautiful suddenly turn out to look like nasty.
That did come out in English not too long ago.
I know.
That's why we were talking about it.
But even still, I remember you dropping that on me.
Yeah. But that's like an example of the one outlier we ended up getting. But there's like hundreds of these games that come out all the time, and we never get them because there's no market for weird Japanese porn shit over here. And Dead or Alive is like downright conservative compared to a lot of this, right? It's not even, like, Dead or Alive is not even shocking or scandalous anymore. Like, let's get past that, right? Like, Senran Kagura is way grosser, and that game get released. Like, there's like 4 of those available at this point.
Fucking dirty capitalists. Them deciding that the market can't sustain the money that they would have to spend in order to, like, bring it to people.
Yeah, like, 'cause fighting
Why
games,
can't we have socialist porn games? Huh?
Fighting games need a ton of localization. You have to translate every punch and kick into English. Guys, that's how that works.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, this is the thing that everyone's talking about, so I feel like we have to at least acknowledge it, or otherwise it seems like we're, like, hiding from it or something. Maybe I'm being silly, but it's a thing that's happening right now. It's like the thing that is going on in video games. Do you guys have any fucking wisdom to drop on it?
My wisdom about this is basically everyone's being a big crybaby, and you're buying into something. You're how do I put this? All right, look, if the far left liberal types like myself really had the power to block or bring in, or basically have exporting powers, we wouldn't be working on this. We wouldn't care so much about the new Dead or Alive. We'd be just working on bringing in, like, all those Japanese RPGs that never make it to America.
I mean, most of the SJWs I know would be trying to get us more weird porn games. Like, them some kinky motherfuckers, let's be real.
Okay. God, I wish we didn't have. I wish the term SJW did not exist.
Is there any other way? Like, I'm using it ironically, obviously.
I understand, but it sounds so stupid. And it doesn't mean anything. It's just the latest term we've given to people whose opinions are different from you and might be more sensitive than you about some things. And
I mean, hipster, millennial, like, there's a ton of, they all just mean, like, people who I disagree with.
I don't know. It's dumb. I don't know. It's just a dumb term, and I hate it. And I especially hate it when basically anytime you show any kind of compassion about anything, someone says, "Oh," and they label you that. And apparently this is supposed to be like an extreme term, which I don't think it really should be. But it's supposed to be this extreme term. But if you do anything, never mind. You know,
there's that browser plugin that replaces every instance of politically correct with treating people with respect. So it turns all of, like, those panicking editorials about, like, the real danger of political correctness into the real dangers of treating people with respect. Yeah. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Also changing millennials to, like, spider people. That's a good one too. There's a bunch of those. They really change the way you see the internet.
You know who yells about political correctness the most in this country? Donald Trump. So don't throw in with him. if he keeps, I swear every time he makes a speech and he's about to say something terrible, he says, "I know it's not politically correct to say this, but," and then he says something terrible. It's like, no, you're just being mean. It's like everyone who says, "I'm not racist, but," and then says racist. So whenever Donald Trump,
it's not a coincidence. Those are often the same people.
Right. So whenever Donald Trump says, "I know it may not be politically correct to say that," I feel like that's like a shield to make it sound like he's trying to be brave by being an asshole.
Of course, and it works. He has tons of supporters who respect him for telling it like it is.
I find it really interesting that people like to use the phrase "I'm not racist, but," as though like there's a bunch of other people walking around in the world saying innocuous things after you say that. Like, I'm not racist, but I'm very particular about what brand of mayonnaise I buy. Or like, I'm not racist, but my preferred brand of pants is actually Levi's.
It couldn't hurt to be specific, though, you know? You just leave it out there.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone's curious.
I just mean, like, it's as if that's like, they think that that's a smoke screen. They're like, okay, I'm going to disguise what I'm about to say, because there are obviously a number of other people who are saying these same things, except, about slightly less provocative things.
It just reminds me that, like, on any given day, my Twitter feed is like 90% or like retweets of like really violently angry people mad about others being too sensitive or too politically correct. But I never see the people doing the political correctness, you know what I'm saying? It seems like people are way more sensitive about sensitivity.
Yeah.
Like, my words are becoming, like, garbage now. I understand that.
I completely understand what you mean, because sometimes when people I know says, "Oh, I'm so tired of internet outrage," and they say it's in a really outrageous way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So, that's a rabbit hole. It's difficult to talk about because you just end up, like, talking in circles because it's all the same, like, problem, right? It's just about empathy is what it is. We can boil all of this down to just...
Austin, if we had to take sensitivity seriously, that means we'd have to open up our feelings to the universe, and then...
Feeling. Jesus. You went and did it. I don't know why. I've been Googling things about Jessica Jones while we've been having this conversation because I was curious. Because Leon said he didn't like the cinematography.
Yeah.
And I've been looking. It looks like every 2 episodes the series switches director.
Oh, really?
So the first 2...
But is it the same cinematographer?
I can't find
that changes a lot for me.
Yeah, it looks like it's the same cinematographer.
Mm.
But I'm looking at, like, okay, the first 2 episodes are directed by somebody who I've never heard of. The the next 2 episodes, are directed by someone who did a bunch of episodes of Boardwalk Empire, Game of Thrones, like some good shit. So I wonder if that would affect you, because I noticed in the first couple episodes there was some questionable shots, like she's walking up some stairs and like a lot of the foreground is blocked, and I was like, that was an interesting choice. But anyway.
One series of shots that kept reoccurring in the first 2 episodes that I really didn't like was an opening on an unrelated object and everything else is out of focus, and then she comes into focus, and then the camera follows her. And that happened a few times. I was like, that didn't mean anything. Here's the thing about just showing an object in a shot. There's something called the Hitchcock rule, and basically what that means is however big something is on screen is directly proportional to how important it is. So when they showed the end of a fence, and then I was like, oh, does this mean something? And it didn't. And they did that a few times. I was like, what are you doing? So, I don't know.
Stop it.
Yeah. Alright,
Alright, you guys want to, questions?
Yeah. Alright, let's do questions. Did anyone bother to ask?
Oh yeah, I got a bunch. I got like a dozen here.
Oh great, because I forgot. I was working all day. I had to work longer than usual. The day right before Thanksgiving is tough. Anyway, do it.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
Brent asks, what is the funkiest word in the English language? I'm going to vote for trombone.
I think didn't we already discuss this?
Maybe. I just read them. I don't think about them.
I thought we already... I feel like we already did this one.
Johnny's like, I only do questions once. Very important.
I'm going to say bedazzle.
Okay. I've never heard these answers before, so they're new answers if it's an old question.
All right.
Johnny, funkiest word.
Funkiest word?
I think you might have got asked about the funkiness of word funk. I don't know if you've been asked about the funkiness of the word, of the English language.
Funkiness of the English language. Okay. Yeah. All right. Give me a second here.
Mm-hmm.
Sauce.
Okay, but only if you say it like that.
You said you put some, like, erotic spin on that. How'd you do that?
Just a talent, boys. Just a talent.
Yeah, it was pretty good. All right. Next, I guess we nailed it.
Yeah. You did it, guys. Crushed it. AMW2663 asks, tofurkey or not tofurkey? That's the whole question, no context.
I mean,
I
I'd eat it, but it's not like my top choice.
It's a context-sensitive answer.
Okay. I mean, I eat, like, imitation meat all the time, oddly enough. But
whether he knows it or not.
Yeah. But, no, when I was a vegetarian, I ate a lot of, Morningstar Farms brand, vegetarian food. And some of it's just really good, so I buy it sometimes because it's slightly better for me, and, you know, it's good. Tastes good. But, no,
Morningstar Farms. Pay more to feel good about yourself.
No, it's actually, I can get it pretty cheap. You know, I go on sales. That's it.
I've had imitation meat, but never, like, on purpose. It was just, like, whatever's happening, and it's like, oh, okay, whatever, I'm not picky. It doesn't matter to me. But I would never deliberately seek out tofurkey. Do people know what tofurkey is? I just assumed.
I assume it's tofu, turkey, just based on the name. So, I mean,
I'm picturing, like, 7 really frustrated listeners right now.
It sounds like, it is what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
So
extremely processed plant material.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I really, really wanted turkey, I would just have turkey. I wouldn't have something pretending to be turkey, something just lying about its turkey status.
I'm sorry. I feel uncomfortable eating something that can taste kind of like that soy sauce is a product of, and that somebody can, like, somehow, like, flesh wrangle. Something that has the texture of meat.
But it makes you feel like you're in the Jetsons, right? That they just make protein paste and then they apply flavor crystals to it. That's a cool feeling.
It weirds me out, man. It weirds me out. Vegetarian culture in general often, like, kind of makes me uncomfortable because, like, on the one hand, I know there's a lot of people who, particularly, I guess, leaning towards the vegan as opposed to the vegetarian option, that pursue this whole concept of, like, all natural. But then the market is at the same time flooded with all these products that are trying to substitute other food products.
Nothing is natural. Every plant that exists today has been cultivated by humans over thousands of years to be what it is.
You see, I am aware of that, and that doesn't bother me when I have, like, a Roma tomato, you know, when I eat a banana rather erotically.
Needless to say.
I'm aware of the fact that it's like, yeah, that we have guided the evolution, there's a dirty word.
Have you guys ever seen old school corn? Like corn before we got to it?
Yeah.
Those tiny little bitches, they ain't got nothing.
Or like fucking watermelons?
Sometimes I just like to go to the produce section and just scream, "You're nothing without us!" So they know what's up.
But I mean, you know, but the thing is that I have no problem, like, eating these foods knowing that they've been specifically manipulated over time, or even processed, you know, like I really do enjoy smoked meats. I used to brag about the International Sausage House,
which has been co-opted by Gorfanax.
You will be missed. You know, because I fucking love gypsy salami.
Please, Romani salami.
Yeah, I know. Shut up, Austin.
Do you guys know about Goliath Grouper? This just popped into my head and I had to say it.
What?
On the subject of political correctness and naming things. So, He just said gypsy salami, which I assume is a kind of salami. And
It is. It's a peppered salami. It's coated. It's really good. It's one of my favorite salamis.
It's kind of not cool to say the word gypsy. It's kind of like a slur for Romani, like a nomadic European people.
It should be noted that there are lots of different kinds of gypsies, so not all gypsies are Romani. It's just all. Never mind. It's all foreign.
Like I'm being reductive, but I'm trying to get to the joke here, or
Sorry.
or the thing. It's not even a joke. There's a fish called the Goliath grouper, and we have them here in Florida. Like I know people who fish for them and stuff, but that's not what they've always been called. That's a very recent name. Do you know what the Goliath grouper used to be called until very recently?
Am I gonna have to bleep it out?
No, it's not a slur. It's just something they used to be called Jewfish. They used to be called Jewfish. That's their name.
Wow.
And now it's not okay to call them that. It's not kosher to call them that anymore. And it just reminded me that it's language, guys. Language is so fucking weird. It's crazy. Culture. Stuff. I've just derailed it all. I'm so excited.
In any case, yeah, I've got no problem eating Spam. I like Spam. Spam's good, but it's like, I'm not going to grab a can of Spam and be like, no, but your problem is you need to eat all natural. Have some Spam.
Is that ever an option?
Because fucking almond milk? Fuck almond milk.
Almonds ain't even got no titties. How can you have almond milk? Why do you guys let me on this show?
I don't have any other friends.
Oh. Leon?
I'm here. What's going on?
And that's just a clue as to how much Leon cares.
I care a little. I mean...
The bare minimum.
Yeah. Alright.
About 75 cents worth.
Leon, do you want another question? Phoenix asks, is there any movie or video game that you feel is overhated or has an unwarranted bad rap?
What has a bad rap?
Any movie or video game, or I guess you could extend this to something else, that you feel is overhated or has an unwarranted bad rap? I'm sure there are.
Tons.
Yeah. God, you gotta narrow it down, though.
The whole, particularly, it feels, at least to me, in the last, 5 to 10 years, that judgment culture has gotten increasingly vitriolic.
Is that what we're calling it? Judgment culture?
Well, I don't know how else to word it, because it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily, you can't just say critics, because it's not limited to critics. There are people who have made very successful livings off of essentially being comedians.
It's like critical populism, because there used to be critics who criticize things. Now everyone can.
Yeah,
right?
The voice has been, or the bar at which the voice is considered relevant has been lowered, and not necessarily in a bad way in a lot of ways, because
it's a good and bad. It's a little both in there.
You get a lot. You get access to a lot of information that you wouldn't necessarily have gotten before, and there's benefit to that. Some of it can be extremely funny. Some of it can be extremely misinforming. But yeah, so everybody just kind of likes to find this sort of. I shouldn't say everybody, but I should say that there are plenty of people out there who think that in order to get themselves attention, they need to declare something that they didn't like as being the shittiest thing ever. And it's just a movie, dude. It winds up being more about the person's personal brand, but then, fan culture, too, has this, weird habit of, canonizing everything that somebody says if you're part of the team. And I've watched it happen to, a number of friends, when you and I were writing for Blistered Thumbs, we did spend a lot of time in the company of Joe Vargas, of Angry Joe. And it was really, really easy to see something that Joe said as being, that we know that he said as, a comedic point, get taken way out of hand as being gospel. Either from people who are like, how dare you say this about this game? You're a terrible person and I hope you die, to people that just toe the party line and are like, well, everything you say is right because you have the greatest show on the internet.
I mean, yeah, there's stuff to be said about like cults of personality, but I guess just to get back to the question, do you have an example of this? Because I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think, and I'm just coming up so short of a specific example.
Like a specific example of a movie or a video game or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone, that basically, it's got a reputation as being hated, but you're like, no, I like that.
I can throw in here real quick. For the longest time, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 had a very negative reputation among horror fans.
I dig that one. That was the first one I saw.
Yeah, it's great. And people have grown to like it now. And a lot of the reason it was disliked for so long was for homophobic reasons. And now that's the thing that makes people love it. In addition to it just being really cool. So that's, I always thought that was really, a really good one. I didn't really get it when I was younger, but, I thought it was cool. Later in life, I found out people did not like it, and I found out why, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is actually awesome. Like more. So that's a thing that, has actually, opinion on it has changed, but for the longest time, that was a thing. That was like the black sheep of the, A Nightmare on Elm Street movies, which is weird because, 4 and 5 are like significantly, objectively worse. So there's that.
I think Voyager catches a lot of hate. Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, that's certainly true.
And I think that the hate that it catches is really unfairly leveled.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems as though a lot of people decide to come down on it because it doesn't necessarily align with like the other Star Trek shows.
Oh, nope, I got it, guys.
What?
I got the right answer.
Yeah.
Early Nickelback.
I know nothing of Nickelback except like those 2 songs that apparently are alike. But tell me about it.
I mean, I'm not a super fan or anything, but I remember when they first came out and they were like an actual rock band where I was like, yeah, this is fine. And then they kind of like sold out and got like shitty, like, frat party rock. Do we have a word for that? Is it like butt rock?
I'm sorry, what?
Isn't that a thing? I think the genre they are now is butt rock.
German herpes rock.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. What is butt rock? I'm not saying you made it up, but it sounds like you did.
Hold on, I'm Googling it.
I am too at the exact same moment. And I found it on Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, I know. Look, the second definition on Urban Dictionary, and the first one under it is a term to identify a band trademarked with cheap, unoriginal lyrics. The vocalist hiding his lack of talent by producing a deep and raspy voice, i.e. Nickelback.
Okay. I like the second one. A term to identify any song composed by a butt rock band or any individual song. I can't
You killed Leon. Also, early Maroon 5. I actually liked their first album, too.
Okay.
So, if you ever wanted a reason to hate me and my taste, there you go.
Alright.
I'll defend early Nickelback and Maroon 5.
Don't worry, Austin. I'm trying to reform you.
Okay.
Going back to what Johnny said, if you go through all of Star Trek Voyager and you count how many good episodes it has, which is probably a lot, although this isn't a fair comparison because it had 7 seasons, there are probably more good episodes of Star Trek Voyager than there are Star Trek the original series, which is not fair because the original series only had 3 seasons to compile its good episodes. But I still think that might be true. Just my opinion. Okay.
I kind of feel the same way. I got to be honest with you too. I kind of feel the same way about Star Trek Enterprise in a certain way. Like the second season was pants. I did not like the second season at all. But I mean that doesn't mean that suddenly like the entire series is just like whenever they bring the time travel stuff in, it's like okay, yeah, all right, get this out of your system. Are we done? Okay, next.
Well,
you know. But I mean, I found it an enjoyable show to watch. But I mean, Jesus Christ, does the fandom shit on it?
I think it's the worst of the Star Trek series, but
I would agree. It's the weakest of the Star Trek series, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it.
That's fair. And I'll although I don't think I enjoyed it as much as you, I will say, and I tried to say this in a video I made a while ago, that I kind of wish it got the full 7 seasons like all the other Star Trek series of that time, because the last season was like its strongest, I think.
Agreed.
And if that was just them finding their voice and the rest of the show had been around that quality level, we would look on it very differently, much in the same way.
It took a long time for the next generation to find its legs.
Yes, the first 2 seasons sucked. And the third is fine, but Enterprise, it took a little bit longer, and for them to find their legs, and we just don't know how it would have panned out if we got another season or 2.
Yeah.
Oh well. Okay. Next question, I guess.
You guys done nerding?
Oh, we're done nerding for now, but we'll see what the next question brings us.
All right, couple more questions, guys. El Consolero asks, have you guys seen the Phoenix Wright movie, and what do you think about video game movies in general? I don't think any of us have seen the Phoenix Wright movie, have we? I have not.
No, I've not even played a Phoenix Wright game, to be honest with you.
Ditto.
They're pretty good. But video game movies in general, like, we all know most of them suck. Do you guys have any, like, outliers or any, like, strong observations? Because I always say, like, 99% of them suck, but the Professor Layton movie is actually kind of good. It's pretty great.
I feel like there's definitely one out there that I'm just forgetting that is actually good. I will say that the Mortal Kombat movie is
the first one, right?
Pretty faithful to the source material.
Yeah, and also it's just very watchable. And I know that's not like a strong endorsement of something to say something is watchable.
It didn't melt my eyes.
Right. But it is. It looks cool and it's fun. I don't know. It's a surprisingly strong film for you know what? I feel the way about the Mortal Kombat movie as I do about the first Ninja Turtles movie. It's way better than it had any right to be. It's not a great film, either of them, but they're way better than you would think.
I enjoyed the first Silent Hill movie.
Okay.
That's fair. I didn't hate it. It's okay.
As far as I was concerned, that was kind of like leaps and bounds ahead of what I was expecting. Like it didn't mess with the source material too much. It kind of softened it up a little bit and made it, I think, a little bit more like North American Western audience focused in terms of its like what's the word I'm looking for here? Supernatural leanings.
Yeah.
To where it was sort of like, ooh, Satan in hell and stuff like that, And I mean, it misused, obviously, like Pyramid Head, because, Pyramid Head's supposed to be a very specific...
Yeah, Silent Hill has misused Pyramid Head more than it's used it correctly, so that's not... I mean, where does that blame even begin?
Yeah. So, but even still, I found largely, it was a decently faithful, like... compressed adaptation of the source material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best movie that has to do with video games is not an adaptation. It's just Indie Game the Movie, which is a documentary that's really good.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for, Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva is not an adaptation of the video games. It's like a story that takes place between two of them and is like actually kind of important to the overarching story. A little bit. So it feels
Ralph
like...
was pretty good.
Sorry.
It's okay.
The Wizard. I win. I win.
That's not good. It's funny.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny unintentionally.
No,
you can get the Riff Tracks version of it streaming now.
Oh,
so.
yeah. That's true.
Video on demand. So if you want to hear the guys at Riff Tracks rip into the Wizard.
What about, did either of you ever see Final Fantasy VII Advent Children?
That was oh god, what's the word I'm thinking of? A wank.
It was a pretty sweet music video. Like
it was
Oh, you know what? I liked the real Final Fantasy movie. So,
The one that didn't have anything to do with the games?
Yeah, it was solid.
All I remember is like the ghost monsters.
Yeah, okay.
Spirits Within.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. I liked it. I know not everyone did, and that's fine. But I thought it was a really cool movie. So
I felt lukewarmish about it.
okay.
I enjoyed it, but I'm scrambling to recall details in my memory.
I remember quite a bit of it. One thing I really liked, just as a weird, completely implausible sci-fi concept, was skydivers jettisoning themselves out of a plane in goo, and the goo lands on the ground to like brace the impact, and then the goo disappears. I was like, that's stupid, but I loved it. I thought I just liked it in general.
There are a couple of CG Resident Evil movies.
Yeah, I've heard those are good, but I haven't seen them.
Yeah, they're not so bad. Like, I mean, I was really tentative because, like, my feelings on Resident Evil are a lot different than a lot of other people's feelings on Resident Evil, insofar as that I recognize...
That's up there with Zack Snyder on the scale of things that you are fucking salty about.
No, it's not a case... I'm not fucking salty about Resident Evil. Other people are fucking salty about Resident Evil. It's just that people are salty about Resident Evil for reasons that I love Resident Evil, and that is that it's like... so whack job, completely crazy fucking out there, just like stupid wacky that I'm like, this is hilarious. And
I like to tease you, Johnny, about like Watchmen and Resident Evil, and because it gets you all riled up, but sometimes I worry one day I'm going to push you a little too far and severely and irreparably damage our friendship. I'm going to be like, oh man, that's Squid, am I right? And you're going to be like, no, they fucking ruined Rorschach. God damn it. The puzzles and the police station make no sense. Fuck you. And then that'll be the last I hear from you.
I'm actually doing that next year on the show. So,
wait, which one? Resident Evil or Watchmen?
Watchmen. So, catch it, I guess.
Scoops.
Yeah.
How is Kurosawa month going? This show is actually like basically an advertisement for your other one, but we're really bad at that.
No, that's fine. No, it's going well. People are watching it and largely enjoying it. So I'm enjoying. I like that. There's like a brief break in Kurosawa month during the month where I just put out a video about Ridley Scott.
I haven't seen that. Do you talk about American Gangster?
No, because I haven't seen it yet.
It's good.
Basically, once a month I like to do an in front of the camera thing where I'm just talking about something. It looks like it's unscripted. It's not. I'm reading a teleprompter. So.
Cheating.
Yeah, I know. It's not supposed to be unscripted. It's just, for some reason, people keep thinking it is, because I tend to speak more naturally when a camera is on me, for some reason, but,
Alright, how about 2 quick questions we can call it a day?
Alright.
First one. This one's just for Johnny.
Oh.
Question for Johnny. Since you worked at a gaming store, could you tell us a funny/crazy story you experienced working there?
Oh God.
No time to prepare.
No, I have a wealth of funny, crazy stories, all at the hands of one guy.
Can we give him a name and add him to the word funk canon?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give him a name. He will be known as Slain.
With an E?
No, we'll call him Slain with an AI. Slain.
Okay.
All right, now Slain. A lot of people in the store have a very, very distinct feeling about the kind of person that Slain was. Many people were convinced that Slain was a habitual liar. Many people were convinced that Slain was an exaggerator of truth. And some
same
people
thing. Keep going.
No. I mean, because like a habitual liar insofar as that he would like make shit up all the time, and then other people were like, no, he just embellishes the truth. And then other people were like dead set on the fact that Slain was too stupid to be anything but honest. Like nobody could figure this boy out. And I say boy, but I mean he was like he was in his late teens, we'll say. So one of the things that Slane was particular for were some of his health problems, which he was very forthcoming about. Like he admitted to just about everybody at the store that he had a problem with IBS, right?
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, and he would get really down about it, and, like, he spoke to me quite frequently because I consider myself to be a non-judgmental person, which isn't necessarily true, I suppose. Maybe I'm just really good at disguising my reactions to people, but he would speak to me pretty frequently and come to me with woes and problems. But there was this one particular day where the gaming store was right next to a Domino's Pizza. Like, talk about a recipe for a beautiful disaster, right?
Oh.
So it was not uncommon for there often to be pizza in the store while guys were playing. We had a sort of an open door policy about, like, food and things like that. We sold drinks and snacks and stuff like that, but if you needed a meal and you were playing Warhammer 40K, we understood if you brought a pizza in.
Wait, is this the barbecue sauce story?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know this one.
Okay, all right. So
how do I know this? Did you tell us on a different show, or you just told me personally?
I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
It's weird. I've known Johnny. It doesn't feel like that long, but I've known him for like 5 years at this point.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So occasionally, what would happen is they would make a pizza in error next door at Domino's Pizza, and then they would bring it over to us and be like, yeah, so the order got canceled or the credit card got declined or, yada, 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 whatever. Have a free pizza on us, right? So this one particular day, like, a free pizza gets dropped off, it gets opened up, and, like, all the customers in the store were like, oh, sweet, free pizza. So everybody came in and, like, grabs a slice. So everybody's eating this pizza, and it was a barbecue chicken pizza, right? And Slane is sitting there, like, munching on a slice of barbecue chicken pizza. And he's like, wow, this is really good. And everybody's like, I mean, it's okay. It's, it's Domino's Pizza. It's not the best pizza in the world, but when you're hungry, it'll do in a pinch. And he's munching away, and he's almost done this slice. He's got like 2 or 3 bites left in this slice of pizza. And he's like, is this barbecue sauce? And it's like, yeah, it's a barbecue chicken pizza, don't you know? And he's like finishing it off while people are talking to him, and he's like, oh, okay, all right. That's not great. I was like, why not? He says, well, my doctor says, and he tells me this as he's reaching for another slice. He's like, yeah, my doctor says that I could probably die if I eat barbecue sauce.
He just keeps going for it?
And he just picks up this second slice of pizza, and everybody's like, what the fuck? Yeah, and he just goes to eat this second slice of pizza, and it's like, put it down. And he's like, why? It's really good. It's like, we just told you there's barbecue sauce on it. He's like, yeah, but I mean, what do doctors know?
I remember the story because I remember thinking, what in barbecue sauce could potentially be fatal to a human being? All it is like...
I don't know.
It's tomatoes, right?
Everyone's allergic, I mean, all right, well, what happened? What happened to him?
He put it down, and but very confusedly, as though he was sort of like, okay, I won't eat it, fine, guys, whatever. Like, he was actually kind of pissed.
Oh.
Then he was like,
save him.
And this guy, oh my god, I saw him, break people's models accidentally, totally klutzy, just, some of the stories that he would tell me, I don't want to get too much into actually, describing the guy's personal life, but there would be these points in times where, he would go from, misplacing, somebody's $60 model for, War Machine or something like that, and, leaving it in the bathroom or something, and then, not being able to find it, we find it in the bathroom, we're like, oh, okay, here it is. And then he would walk over to me and be like, yeah, so my girlfriend thinks she's pregnant.
What?
Oh, God, yeah, this dude was all over the map. Like, I to this day, I still cannot, for the life of me, pin this guy down.
I think he was trolling you.
I'm like,
There's no way a human being does any of that, and
it's possible, but if he was, my God, the man's level of commitment, it was 24/7. Every time I spoke to him, every time I saw him.
He Andy Kaufman'd your ass.
He may very well have Andy Kaufman'd me. Even to this day, we're Facebook friends. I see the stuff he posts, and I'm like, is this still a thing? Like, are you still? And he is. So it's either the most amazing thing, the most amazing piece of performance art I've ever seen a person do, or just tragic.
Oh.
Wow. I was hoping the end of the story would have like a funny punchline, but no, it's just this guy his life is just a shame.
Then he ate an entire box of Settlers of Catan.
We had some weird stories about like our fighting fish that, lived in a little bowl of dice, and like how he kept going into comas. This fish wouldn't die. He died like 3 or 4 times. It has nothing to do with games, but it's like he died, and we were getting ready to bury him, and he's like, "What are you doing, guys?" We were just like, "What the fuck?"
Wait,
Jesus fish.
What? You have an immortal game fish?
He died, we thought he died like 3 or 4 times. Like, we'd walk in the morning, and he was just like floating on his side, and we're like, oh, well, the fish is dead. And then we'd dump the water out to clean the dice and get ready to dispose of the fish, and he would perk right the fuck up and just be like, hey, what the fuck, I was sleeping.
Trolled by fish.
Trolled by fish. And there was a fucking kid who, because we were right next to a movie theater, right? So, oftentimes there would be, new movies would come out, and a bunch of people would go to the movie theater to see these new movies, and they would see that there was a board game store and assume that, everybody in there was, these weird, toothless, scary, or scaredy pant nerds. But we were mostly grown men for the fact. And I mean, by that point in time, I had had my black belt. So on more than one occasion, we had, guys bluster in the door, thinking that they were like, watch me go own these dorks. And then just immediately get cowed by this room full of nerds. It was just it was a beautiful sight to behold. Because they would walk in and just be like, what's up, nerds? And then someone would turn around and be like, not much, shithead, eat a dick! And
wait, did they think nerds hadn't invented swear words yet?
Yeah, it was funny to see these guys not know how to react to people that were ready to tell them to go fuck themselves. And particularly the staff, too.
Think about how different 80s movies would be if that's just how all of those nerd jock interactions went.
There was one kid, this kid couldn't have been more than 11 or 12 years old, who would go to the movies in a Batman costume. I shit you not. And if he didn't go to the movies in the Batman costume, he would bring it with him. Because
isn't that a Parks and Rec joke?
I don't know, but on more than one occasion when, a movie premiere was coming, and the same kid would run into the store with a cape and a Batman mask on, throw his hands up in the air and yell, I'm Batman! And then, run around the store for 20 seconds and then right back out the door again. We didn't even sell comics.
Do you live in, some kind of weird Twin Peaks-esque, weird personscape? What is going on in your vicinity?
That area of town, yeah, is weird. It's difficult to describe. It was a really old school port settlement that slowly became a tourist town. That after that suddenly became the go-to place for young families. So it was this weird mix of people who had lived in the town and passed it down to their kids who were, just sort of like weird kind of working class yokel-y kind of.
And it was haunted by whale ghosts. Obviously. Canada.
And then like all these like young new progressive families with young kids and things like that. So like one moment you'd be talking to somebody and they'd be like, oh yeah, like all the schools in the area, blah 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 blah. And then like you turn to the next person and they'd be like, this town went to hell after the child prostitutes moved in. And you're like, what?
I don't know what's going on anymore.
It was a weird place to be.
Okay.
Leon's just watching the show go down in flames, and he's totally powerless to stop it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
Leaving all of this in.
I do have some weird stories from the gaming store, but...
Why do you leave it when we make ourselves sound like raving morons, and when you do it, Leon, you're like, that's out.
Because it's my show. And I have a reputation.
Do you, though? Aren't you just the soothing voice movie guy? Is that...
Yeah.
He's the Attack of the Trek guy.
Not anymore. Alright,
Last question? Are we doing the last question?
Yeah,
or are
we can do one more.
Alright.
Becky C, who you might know as...
Yay.
I guess, yeah.
Hi, Becky!
She does fan art for Dice and WordFunk, and that's great.
It's not just great, it is the best. She asks entirely in Spanish, because I asked for questions in Spanish. She asks if Blade Runner is better if Deckard is a replicant or a human.
Oh, that's actually a good question that I'm going to address in a video next year. But because I briefly did like a short video about Blade Runner, but not like the full length thing, which I'm going to do. Anyway,
it's not about whether or not he is or not. It's just if it's better if he is or not.
Here's the thing. I think it's better if there's a chance he is. Because that's the thing that sort of drives the story. To me, not whether or not he is, but whether or not it matters. If someone is artificial or someone is, natural. I'm using finger quotes when I say that.
He behaved the same way.
Right,
so
right.
Any emotions he had were a result of whatever processes, biological or mechanical, so why would it diminish his quote-unquote humanity?
The reason I like and accept the fact that Ridley Scott says he's a replicant is because I like the possibility that he could be a replicant. If he's not, and like in Blade Runner 2, it's confirmed that he's not, then I'll be fine with that too. But I like the possibility that he is, so that's why I'm so accepting of it. But it's fine if he's not. I think the best part of the movie that addresses or not addresses that is when Sean Young says, have you ever hooked that machine up to yourself? And the scene just ends right there. There's no answer to it. And I think that works better than even the dreams that suggest he might be. It's an open-ended question.
Yeah, ambiguity is my jam. I think more things should be ambiguous.
Yeah. So I mean, does it work? I think the movie works better if that's a strong possibility. I don't think it necessarily works better if it says he definitely is or definitely isn't. Maybe Ridley Scott shouldn't have said that, like, out loud, because...
But I'm sure he got asked, like, every week.
I know.
20 years. And he was like, whatever, fuck, Christ.
No, I know. I actually remember I saw on the internet that he revealed that, and I had never seen Blade Runner before. But it was like this big thing in the nerd community that people were talking about. Oh, he finally revealed the thing. I'm like, what is even this thing? And so I looked into it. But yeah, maybe he never should have said that, and that would have been fine. Maybe he still should have made the final cut that more or less says yes, but not actually said it out loud.
It's like midichlorians. Once you try to explain it, the magic's gone.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there could be something to that. Okay. All right. Anything we want to say before we go? We went a long time.
I want to go on record and say that I think it actually makes it a better movie.
Okay.
It's a fantastic movie either way, but I think it makes it a better movie when he is a replicant, because when he's not a replicant, it's a movie about how humanity comes to understand that replicants are actually humans. When he is a replicant, it's a movie about the audience sympathizing with something that is not a human by recognizing its behaviors as being human.
Okay.
And that relationship changes depending on his identity, because when the human learns about the replicant in the movie, the audience is just watching and being like, oh look, humans and robots now finally. And I know I'm being reductive by saying robots, so don't jump down my throat. But when he is a replicant and the audience isn't necessarily privy to that in the footage as being like, hey guys, this is definitely a thing, then it becomes about the audience's relationship with the humanity of the characters. And I think that interaction, audience to movie, as opposed to the audience watching the movie interact with itself, is much more interesting.
Good answer.
Yeah. All right. Anything we want to say before we go? Like last words?
Listen to Dice Funk.
It's good.
It's the other thing we're doing. Shit's popping off.
Yeah. It was always good, but now we're like getting into like the meaty stuff. Like, and the weird thing is, and don't tell me, Johnny, I definitely want to be surprised, but I have no idea which act we're in. like if this is like, we're in the final throes of this, or this is just like the halfway point and then everything starts to happen.
We're at the climax of something. It's just not clear how much of the current thing we're through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We're in an interesting part. The new episode we recorded on Monday, I imagine, is coming up soon. So catch it. I believe that'll be part 11.
Part 11 is going to be when people look back and I'm like, well, that's when they made that decision and everything. That's how we got here.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on the show. I have thoughts, but I'll just leave it at that. Johnny, anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, sure. Protect your toes. They're more important than you might think.
Yeah. So.
Also, yeah, tune into Dice Funk.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I'm not going to tell anybody anything about what I'm planning here. You're just all going to have to like listen to it and find out.
Yeah. Oh, it's all on YouTube now. So go to my YouTube. It's in the. I cannot explain the URL because it's long.
It's on iTunes as well.
It's also on iTunes. So there's like no excuse. It's everywhere.
Dice Funk is easier to listen to even than Word Funk. What are you doing here? Go listen to Dice Funk.